Today's topic is, why is marriage important? And we're going to go over three parts with regards to that particular topic. One is, what are the benefits that you get from a healthy marriage? What are the requirements in order to have this healthy marriage? And three, what are the exceptions, as in, when is divorce a good thing? Because I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and while I'm a big supporter and believer in marriage, I also believe there's a definite time and a place for divorce.
And we are two as one.
We are indeed. You are.
My name is Andres.
And I am Karen. So,
I like the benefits.
right? Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good benefits.
It is.
Something
It
we
is.
talk about sometimes, and for me, I am just absolutely amazed at how amazing this marriage is with you, because I literally manifested you.
Thank you.
I did, and what I tell my clients sometimes also is to use this exercise where you write in present tense your perfect ideal day, where you emphasize all of the emotional sides, all the sensations, the taste, the smells, the physical sensations, all of that, and write out your entire day, what you're doing. And you can use this for your romantic, intimate life. You can use this for your social life, for your career, for your financial and spiritual self. You can combine it all. You can do however. But that is what I did. I wrote it out very specific, and I did it more than once. It took me a little while I was working on myself, making myself the best person that it's an everyday situation for me. And voila, here you are.
Here I am.
Yes,
You did it.
I did it. It works. Yes. So tell me a little bit about some of the benefits for you, as not as necessarily for you, both for you, but also in general.
Oh well. I just mentioned the other day. I can't believe I'm married, and to me it's so beautiful. After my two past experience, I've been divorced twice, so I thought I'm done with that. I don't believe in marriage anymore, so I'm not gonna do it. So sometimes this beautiful feeling comes to my head, and I can believe after all those experiences I had the opportunity to enjoy a marriage and get all the benefits, all the love that get from a relationship that is supposed to be like that. That's what I signed it for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think really this is so many people who feel the way you do because of their childhood experiences, seeing their parents not getting along and getting divorced, and some people, they can really hang on to their anger about their exes and soon to be exes, and make that at the forefront of their life, which that can be a whole other topic for another video. That's a whole topic in and of itself. um, and other people, and then there's their own personal experience with their marriages, right? So it's all built on that. So I think a lot of it really is a mindset. You have to have the mindset. Mindset is everything,
It
truly. Yeah.
It is. And education as well.
Education, yes.
Education, learn about to the marriage. If that's the purpose, that's what you are looking for, just get educated and about to the benefits and what do you need to put in the relationship in order to make it work.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you have learned and that you want to make sure that you share with other people, like maybe your kids and other people you talk to? What's important to you to know about marriage before you go in?
Well, marriage is a commitment. It's it's a contract. under the eyes of the government and under the God's eyes. And it's just an agreement with your partner to work together through many situations in life and always be there for the other part.
Yeah. And because I think some people are in the marriage or relationships, but certainly when you get to marriage, as in, what's in it for me? What have you done for me lately? The Janet Jackson song, right? If you remember that. What have you done for me lately?
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan. Well, however, but that is how some people, operate in relationships, and it's not a good place to come to be in a relationship. It doesn't make the relationship work because it builds a lot of resentment, and it's a two-way street.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
100%.
And it's something to take in consideration. You need to nurture the relationship because it's a seed, and everything that you put every single day makes this grow and get beautiful or get ugly as depend what are you putting on it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, and there's a lot of things. I saw this beautiful reel the other day that I shared with you, and it started with what's worth fighting for in a marriage. And so you come off with the idea of, okay, what are the things we're gonna fight about? But it was actually the opposite. It's like, so it's worth fighting to find out what are your partner's needs. It's worth fighting to together to encourage each other's health, and there was the real was them working out together. It's worth fighting for the snuggles, and it was a lot of things. It was a beautiful reel, and that is the perfect mindset to have for a marriage.
That fight for a good communication.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is the one of the principles on a marriage.
Yeah, yeah, and when it comes to communication, a lot of that has to do with listening, and really when there's something going on, I need to put my stuff aside so that I can fully understand where you're coming from. It's when we talk about, putting yourself in another person's shoes, that's what you have to do. You can't be in somebody else's shoes and try to understand what's going on there if I'm still going on about what my agenda is and what I want to get across. So it's very important to do that. So many misunderstandings can be avoided simply by doing that. I was telling a client the other day that I think probably at least 50% of the problems that come up in relationships could be avoided simply by learning how to listen.
Correct. Correct.
A lot of drama that can be avoided.
Yeah, because it's an exercise. Communication is an exercise that you need to practice every single day. The small things, the big things, it's about communication. And it's beautiful once you figure out how to do it. Even the smallest thing that you can think in that relationship, jokes and the small things that happen in your daily basis.
Yeah.
Become part of the growing of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the little messages throughout the day and
The notes.
Sharing the love notes, sharing little videos. I'm thinking of you. Videos that make the other person laugh, and it just keeps you connected throughout the day.
Correct. Don't assume. That's a big mistake.
Yeah. So some of the other benefits is the part of really having that person be your rock, be your partner, that I can truly depend on us if I need anything, right? And vice versa. Again, it's a two-way street. It's always a two-way street.
Yeah, I've been sick for the last couple days with a terrible flu, and just the fact to know that I have you you are the only one. I have my child over here, but he is only 10 years old. So you are basically the only one that I have to keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
So that's it's priceless. I mean, I couldn't find the words to express my gratitude and thankfulness for all you that you do every single day for me. So
Yeah, made it from my 3 days of Bali belly when we were in Bali. Yeah, that was. I don't get sick, so that was like, oh my God. Yeah, I was not well
right.
for a couple of days. Like, I gotta stay in bed. Mm. Um, the other thing with in a marriage, especially when we have both are in this with this mindset, is a deeper connection because this is the person that had the most intimacy. I mean, literally, you're in bed and having sex together, right?
That's
But
the benefit. One of the
that's a
benefits.
benefit. um, but also on an emotional level, because when you allow yourself to open up and be vulnerable with this other person, um, and you've created that space of emotional safety that I can be vulnerable with you and vice versa. And every time you do that, you create that deeper connection that when I share, like before when we were discussing, kind of going over what we were going to talk about in this video, we had a deeper conversation about, hey, you want to say what your question was that got to that place. I got very emotional because it was something that was really
We had a couple
strong.
tears before the this episode becomes a little bit emotional here.
It's
So
okay.
yeah.
What was it that, because we were talking about, I've been married once before and it was a 22-year relationship. And what was your question to me?
Um, I was about to the being educated.
No, you were saying because I'm not religious.
Oh, yeah. So, Karen is not a religious person, and I was asking her what makes you stay and fight for your relationship for 20 years when you probably knew before 22, when you probably knew before that it's not working. Sometimes in my culture of my side of the family, the people had the tendency to stay together because God. We need to please God, and that's why God want us to get married only once. So my question was, what makes you stay if you are not a religious person?
Yeah. And my answer was that one of the things my mom really taught me was that a promise is a promise, your word is your word. And I am generally a very loyal person, and I believe in marriage. I find it to be a comfort and a wonderful coming together of two people. And I hate to hurt people's feelings, and I love to make people feel good, which is probably the reason why I love my work as a therapist. And and I have I'm an optimist, so I always had hope that I see potential in people, which is one of the exceptions that we're going to get to in just a minute. That sometimes you can see potential in other people, but if they don't see it in themselves, and this is not, I'm not blaming my ex on anything, but there is, we're going to get to that. So when you see potential in other people and they don't believe in that potential themselves, then it just doesn't work. It's going to not work.
No.
So finally, I had to capitulate and throw in the white towel and do what I did. And it was definitely a good decision, and I'm very happy and proud of the fact that both of us, he and I, agreed that our son is the most important thing, and it was very peaceful and amicable. still painful. So I don't know how people get through the difficult, drama-filled, horrible divorces. It was hard enough to go through the amicable, peaceful divorce. So I
Yeah.
definitely feel for uh, all these other poor people. So, this is a very good one. This one about, you bring up that this point many times
Well
about
then.
when the home is good, you have energy to do other things.
Oh yeah, that's an infinite source of power once everything is settled at home, and then you can expand your mind and try to achieve another goals and another situations that you want to get in life. Because when you are focusing and the marriage and the situation that you are going through in the marriage, everything is stuck. You are in a hole, and you're gonna all your energy is going through that, and your mind is it's blocked in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. And that's where the beautiful thing, every year we do our vision boards for it. So
Mm-hmm.
we sometimes we'll do our own individual, and then we'll also do it together as a couple and a family. And that's that part of when we're not fighting and going at it head to head on different things, then we can use that energy, this all this positive energy that we're generating. It literally is a frequency, and then we can put our mind together, we can put our money together, we can decide where we're making our money grow, where what are the things that we want to experience, because we're on the same page. And like you said, that energy and money and all the things that you can focus on in your career, you can focus on that and get ahead. And I want you to be, I am the most happy when I see a big happy smile on your face, right? It's like, ah, that's happened to me, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, yes.
When you made the love the priority in your relationship, we are totally different. I don't like the music that she likes, the food and the stuff. But once the love is the rock, everything else is nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
And while there are some differences, I think there we have more things in common than not.
probably.
Yeah, totally. We both focus, being healthy, and we're both forward minded. We both jump on opportunities. We when there's an issue that comes up, we immediately go to, okay, well, there's a problem. What's the solution, right? How can we resolve this?
Mm.
Whereas other people get stuck in the problem, and that's that anchor.
Yeah.
We're buoys,
Mm-hmm.
and we keep each other buoyed even higher.
Correct.
So number two is, what does it take what are the requirements to build the kind of positive marriage that we're talking about, that are so many benefits to get? You were talking about education.
Yeah. I believe that's the major issue, and the young people getting married is not knowing what is the marriage about it, all the commitment, all the legal stuff that go involved in a relationship. So education, it's a big thing, even in the marriage situation, knowing what you are signing for.
Mm. Yeah, and and uh, the education, both on the what the legal requirements are, and what what the emotional requirements are. But I think it's also important for people to know what are the benefits and how do you get to those benefits. They don't just happen on their own. You do have to keep putting, what I call love deposits, right? Like we were talking about, doing all the little nice things, connecting throughout the day, and all of that. Um, but yeah, the other thing that a lot of people do, they like to keep an option open. So there's a little bit of that. Is the grass greener on the other side? And you know what? In that when you have kind of more or less 1 foot out the door, then you are taking away, even if it's 10% of your energy, away from fully putting into the marriage. And when you're not fully in the marriage, how can you expect the marriage to thrive? Um, like with these,
when it's not a full commitment, the things don't gonna work.
right?
That was my experience with the first marriage. We That's what we did. We left a door or window open, and just in case if the things didn't work, and then we can go through. So we never put the full commitment in the relationship. At the end, that's what happened. We saw the door open and
Yep.
took the shortcut.
There you go.
Yeah, it was not a full commitment.
Mm. Yeah. So that's one thing. If you are a grass is greener, like to keep options open person, I just encourage you to, and it has to be with the right person. That's the other thing. Yeah. So I think that's also where the education come in. When we reverse engineer from there, is that's where something like premarital counseling can come in. Really having relationship coaches, marriage and family therapists, and to come in to go visit them, and let's see before we go in and make this commitment. So to really be prepared and go in, with all the right tools, right? So immaturity, that's the other thing. Many times, I know, even though I was immature in many ways, I was immature in other. We can have areas that we are strong in and others where we're not.
I believe it is a beautiful thing that someone, some young people want to get married, and it's a beautiful thing because they have really good expectations about marriage. Unfortunately, that what they find and in between maybe it's not what they wanted for, but I believe it's something amazing that the young people want to sign for that kind of commitment. If you figure it out how to make it work, it's beautiful because you're gonna avoid a lot of mistakes and situations that you don't want to be go through.
Yeah. And there are people who, get married at 17, 18, 19 years old and stay together for their entire lives, and they are happy.
Yeah.
It's, again, it's a skill set and a mindset that it will make that happen. Now, for me, I think it is also that part that, which is the other thing I knew I was looking for, somebody who's growth oriented, as in personal growth, always looking to learn, expand their mind, expand spiritually, and all the things. Because if you're someone who is growth oriented and you're with somebody who's kind of rigid and stuck and doesn't like change, you're a change maker and this person doesn't like change. That's not going to work because there's a person that is just growing, and this person is staying here, like hanging on for dear life, and so that's one of the exceptions. Going to number 3, where it comes to exceptions, where divorce is probably going to be the best answer for everybody involved.
Well, it's a hard decision to make, but sometimes it's something that you need to do it in order to benefit everybody involved in the relationship.
Yeah, I think there really is a point in time where it's just dead, and you're dead inside emotionally, and the love is completely gone, and staying in a marriage where you're emotionally dead and there's no reviving it. I really do believe there is that. That's where I felt that I was. Again, nothing to do with blame or pointing fingers. It just is what it is. And I think it's important to really identify that and accept it. And there are just relationships that aren't meant to be for life. And I think it has a lot. It's much more important to um, take the high road and separate divorce, staying on the high road, being kind to the other person. Right.
I believe that this is the most difficult part to acceptance.
Yeah.
You know, once you try to do the most as you can to save the relationship and get to that acceptance state, that's the most difficult part to understand. It's nothing else that you can do.
Yeah.
It's like a lost
Yes. Well, yeah, I always
battle.
use the you always use the sitting on the fence right there and trying to make a decision. It's like I think I should do this, but oh, I hate to do that, and that is the hardest part because there is no clear exact thing. Oh, okay, when he hits me, or when he says that word, or when she does this. There is no such thing. It's you have to make a decision, and then that's it, right? But I think it's important that if you feel as though you've done everything, you've tried to communicate, you've maybe tried counseling, you've looked at yourself and done all the things that you can do to heal yourself and grow and be kind and listen and encourage and all the things, and it's still not working, then there comes that point. Obviously, if there's abuse, physical, emotional, financial, control, those kinds of things. I started out my career in working for a domestic abuse counsel. Worked at the shelters, so very, very familiar with those dynamics, and that just cannot be right. That's a clear, although when you're in it, it's not clear. It's never clear when you're in it, but that's definitely a good reason to get out. You have to, though, make sure that you have safety parameters in place when it comes to domestic violence, because the most dangerous time in those relationships is when the person who's being abused wants to leave, because now the person who's the abuser, whether it's the man or the woman, the person who's the abuser is now losing control, which is the most important thing for them. So when they are losing control, that is usually the time when there is the murder, that happens, and that sometimes happens years later. So it is important to communicate, whether with a therapist or with a domestic abuse shelter hotline, any of those things, to ensure that you have a good safety plan in place. So I will post the National Domestic Violence Hotline in the comments, and so that you have that. Very important. It can literally be a life or death situation right there.
Correct.
Yeah. You, as a former police officer.
Well, I had a very shocking situations when we had those calls, and when we had the person, the abusive, under custody, and was the other partner begging us to don't take them to jail. And it was, this guy just beat up on you, so bad, and now we are trying to protect you, to save your life, and you want us to leave this guy with you? I was, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's a perfect example of the entire mindfuck that this abuse does. I always use the analogy of, it's like, in Lord of the Rings, when the whatever his name is, he's in the spider's cave and he gets wrapped up in the cobweb, and it's a sticky web, and people who are in those relationships, they can know that it's wrong. They get the emotional abuse and verbal abuse is so that they start to question themselves. There's less and less of who they are, and they are over time made to feel as though I can't live without you. Nobody else is going to want me, and all these things, and it's really hard to understand.
It is.
It makes no sense. it, but it's if you just think of it as a mind fuck, because that's what you saw and that's what it is, and it really takes some time to overcome it. So that's one. The other thing was when you've grown up too far apart, when there's abuse, domestic violence, and there can be domestic abuse where there's no physical abuse. So just know that the verbal and emotional and the control factors can be in there, and that's still considered domestic abuse. Okay, so and when you've married potential and you've grown too far apart. Okay, well that's kind of along with the first one I said. Okay, so oh, I think I forgot to say. I was looking up the statistics, and that it's very interesting because we usually are told, oh yeah, the divorce rate is 50% and higher and whatnot. So I decided to look this up before we went on here to let's see what the new numbers are. And this was it quoted from 2008 to 22, the national divorce rate actually went down from just over 10% to about 7%. And during the same time, the national marriage rate has remained the same, about 16 to 18%. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's hope.
In a really good way. It's hope there.
There is a lot of hope. And that is exactly what we want to leave you with. So let us know what your thoughts are on these ideas and thoughts. Maybe you have some of your own experiences you want to share. Maybe there's some things that we didn't bring up that you want to add to the discussion. Always let the discussion be kind and respectful. And yeah, because love is definitely out there. That was the other thing. Like I am a huge believer of love. Your person is out there, and it's when we use our tools, when we get ourselves to a place where you have to show up as the partner that you want to have also, right? So
Correct.
So that's important.
Very important.
Yeah, that's probably number one. Numero uno.
Yeah.
We put the numero uno at the very end here. So
Be for your partner the person that you want to be.
That's it. Yes, that is exactly it. And with that, we'll wrap it up for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for hanging in there till the end. We love your feedback. Like, subscribe, all the things. If this is something that you feel like somebody could benefit from, please do share it with them. And we shall see you next time.
See ya.